Before going to the actual topic, I would like to show you one simple experiment that shows how the photoelectric current depends on the intensity of light. See, this is a photosensitive surface, and when light falls on it, current is generated, that is photocurrent, and there is a small motor which rotates. So I am using this cell phone to shine on the surface. Now you can see the motor is working. Now you can see the speed of rotation. Now when I move the light away, so intensity decreases, the speed also decreases. That means photocurrent is decreasing. So when I bring it nearer, so you can see the speed increasing. So like this. Now, if you change the color of the light, if it is not having sufficient energy, that is, if the radiation has frequency less than threshold frequency, there will be no photoelectric emission. Okay. So now I use red light and see whether it can make the motor to rotate. So this is the red light. So even when I bring it nearer, even it is very intense, you can't observe any movement. So this is a laser light, laser beam. So with this red light, this is not photosensitive. It is not providing sufficient energy. Hence, it is not able to rotate. The photocurrent is not generated. Okay. So in that way, you can see that effect of intensity, and also you can use different colored light and can observe the effect of frequency on the photocurrent. Now, so let us come to the topic, that is photoelectric effect. If you try to explain on the basis of wave theory of light, let us see what happens. Now, we know light exhibits properties such as reflection, refraction, interference, diffraction, and polarization. Such properties can be explained considering the wave to propagate in the form of waves. But if you use the same concept to explain the observed photoelectric effect, see what happens. So one point is this. You know, the energy of the light, which is an electromagnetic wave, is distributed in the form of electric field and magnetic field. So when the energy of the wave is extended over the region or space occupied by the wave. So when such a wave is incident on a metal surface, the energy is absorbed by the electrons. Now we have when you increase the amplitude of the wave, so that is intensity increases. So from wave concept, I am explaining that the intensity of a wave is proportional to square of the amplitude. So with increasing the amplitude, intensity of the wave increases. So by increasing the intensity, we may expect the photoelectrons coming from the surface to have more and more kinetic energy. But experimentally observed photoelectric effect shows that the kinetic energy of the photoelectrons is independent of the intensity of the incident radiation. Also, with increasing in intensity, energy of the waves must increase. That is, as the amplitude increases, energy of the wave must increase. So, it should emit photoelectrons from a metal surface. But each metal surface has a threshold frequency. That is, unless the incident radiation has a minimum frequency, it will not show, or it will not emit photoelectron from a metal surface. So the wave concept rules out the existence of a threshold frequency for a metal surface. So in that way, wave theory of light fails to explain photoelectric effect. And there is another point, that is there is no time lag between the incidence of the radiation and emission of photoelectrons. So it is an instantaneous process that is observed in the experiment. But if you consider the wave theory of light, then several electrons on the metal surface will absorb energy from the radiation. So each electron will acquire insufficient energy to come out from the metal surface in a given time. So it may take a lot of time for the electrons to absorb energy from the radiation and to come out from the metal surface. But in photoelectric effect, there is almost no time lag between the incidence of radiation and the emission of electrons. So it is an instantaneous process. So in that way also, wave theory fails to explain the instantaneous process of photoelectric effect. So hence we cannot make use of the wave theory of light to explain photoelectric effect. Then Einstein explained the photoelectric effect phenomena with the help of quantum concept of radiation. Now let us discuss about that. So Einstein's photoelectric equation. And quantum concept of radiation. So he took the concept proposed by Planck for energy radiation. That is, energy of the electromagnetic waves is transferred in fixed amounts, in fixed energy packets called as energy quanta. The energy of each quanta is given by h times the frequency of the radiation. So he made use of that concept and explained the process of photoelectric effect, that the energy quanta of radiation when incident on a metal surface, it transfers the energy and momentum to the electrons, and the electrons acquiring that energy comes out from the metal surface. So the energy, a part of this energy quanta is used for work function, and the remaining is seen as kinetic energy of the emitted photoelectrons. So he gave this equation: maximum kinetic energy of the emitted photoelectrons is given by the energy of the quanta minus work function. And this equation is called as Einstein's photoelectric equation. Now there is a linear relationship you can observe between the maximum kinetic energy and the frequency of the incident radiation. So with increasing the energy of the incident radiation, that is frequency of the radiation, so the kinetic energy of the emitted electrons also increases. And since you know kinetic energy is a non-negative value, so it cannot have a negative value, so it should be positive, or at the minimum can be 0. So taking that condition, you can write h nu naught is equal to phi naught. So the threshold frequency is given by phi naught by h. And in terms of stopping potential, maximum kinetic energy can be written as stopping potential multiplied with electron charge. So that is equal to the h nu minus phi naught. So therefore V naught is equal to h by E into nu minus phi naught by E. So this is also another form of photoelectric equation. This shows a linear relation between the stopping potential and the frequency of the radiation. So this was experimentally verified by Millikan. So actually he wanted to disprove Einstein's explanation of photoelectric effect. So considering the radiation as energy packets and the process is something like a collision process. So what he did is he did experiments with different alkali metals and he drew the graphs between the stopping potential and the frequency of the radiation for different metals. He got straight lines. So from the slope of the straight lines, he calculated the Planck's constant value. And the Planck's constant value 6.623 into 10 to the power of minus 34 joule second. So he obtained almost the same value which is found by other experimental methods. So the experiment performed by Millikan proved that this linear relation is correct, and also the calculations of Planck's constant value and work function for the metals also found to be correct from his experimental observations. So in that way, Millikan proved that Einstein's photoelectric equation and his explanation is correct. So in that way, the particle behavior of radiation is proved. And also Einstein's equation explains that each photon, the quanta of energy is later named as photon. Each quanta of energy, which is known as a photon, when it is incident on a metal surface, each one can transfer energy and momentum to electron, and that electron comes out with remaining energy as kinetic energy. So with increasing intensity means here increasing the number of photons falling on the metal surface. So in terms of the particle behavior of radiation, the intensity means the number. So more the intensity means more number of photons are incident on the metal surface, hence more electrons are produced. So in that way, the relation between intensity of the incident radiation and the photocurrent can be explained. So like this, Einstein's photoelectric equation explains all the laws of photoelectric effect observed by scientists experimentally. Okay. Then we will discuss about the concept of photons and properties of photons. That is the nature of light as considered as a particle, that is particle behavior of light or radiation, and that particle like things we call it as photons. So the energy quantas are known as photons, and Einstein's photoelectric effect shows the particle behavior of radiation, but Compton's experiment with X-ray scattering by electrons gives conclusive proof of particle behavior of radiation. So photons, that is the radiation, can be treated as energy quanta called as photons, which behaves like matter particles when they interact with particles like electrons. So the behavior of or the nature of photons can be summarized like this. Photons are energy quanta, each one having energy equal to Planck's constant times the frequency. Then the photons of the same radiation will have same frequency and wavelength and travel with the speed of light. C is the speed of light. All the photons of a radiation will have same frequency and wavelength and travel with the speed of light. That is another characteristic. Third one is the photons are chargeless particles. So they are not affected by electric and magnetic fields. So they are chargeless and hence they are not affected by electric and magnetic fields and they are neutral particles. And next point is the photons not only carry energy, also momentum. So if h nu is the energy, then momentum of each photon is given by h nu by c, or the momentum is given by h by lambda. You know that nu is equal to c, so you can write c is equal to nu lambda, nu gets cancelled and you will get h by lambda. So momentum is a characteristic of particles. Therefore, photons behave like particles having a momentum of h by lambda. There is another important characteristic about the photons is that the total energy and momentum of photons are conserved in any interaction. When they interact with particles like electrons, their total energy and momentum are conserved, but their total number is not conserved because there are some nuclear processes in which the annihilation of matter particles takes place and photons are generated in their place, or a photon may get converted into particles, mass particles. So like this, there are some nuclear reactions observed in which the conversion of mass into photons, that is mass particles into photons, or photon into mass particles, so are matter particles. Therefore, in an interaction, the momentum and energy of photons are conserved, but their number may not be conserved. So these are all the characteristics of photons. Okay, so from these points, that is from this photoelectric effect and from Compton effect, it is understood that radiation behaves like matter particles. So in the next class, we are going to discuss the converse one, that is the particles exhibit wave nature. So that is what we discuss in the next class.